Yeah, take 3. Hello, my friends. I think you're getting sick and tired of me doing this, but no. Um, no, this is another episode of the Chest of Obscurity for a third time. And this game is brought to us by Konami of 1992. And we have story. Now this one, as I said, I had to do this like 2-3 times because, for one, I couldn't see anything from my other emulator, my 9X. So I'm using ZSNES just to see the whole of the plot of this story. You couldn't see it on 9X if I was recording it, but you can see it here. Planets of the Illis solar system are being threatened by a mysterious enemy. The indestructible forces of this enemy are overwhelming the small entire fleet of the solar system. You couldn't see this on 9X. If I was recording off it, you couldn't really see it. After months of tenacious enemy attack, only one ship has survived. Axelay. So this is Axelay for the Super Nintendo, brought to us by Konami of 1992. Now when it did come out, it came out on September 11, 1992 in Japan, and everywhere else it came out later on that year. I do remember seeing ads about this game, but I've never played it. And it does have the veins of, say, Gradius and Lifeforce, aka Salamander, or Nemesis, take your pick. And really, you're going to see why it's a spiritual successor of the two games I mentioned. And for what it's worth, I have to say, man, even playing it on the other emulator, still blows me away of, it still blows me away of how it just looks so good. And you know, back in the day when Super Nintendo was big on Mode 7, Mode 7 was the shit. Because certain games like this, Secret of Mana, D-Force, and other titles that use Mode 7, like Illusion of Gaia, Lufia, you know, games that just had this 3D effect, it was pretty cool. So, you know, it really was back in the day, and by 1992 standards, all I can say is, wow. That's all I'm going to say. Wow. So, give me a moment as I check everything I need to check just to make sure everything is running smoothly. 1 sec. Okay, so everything is set. So here, the whole mission is to basically gain whatever was lost of this ship. And so what we have are the startup weapons. Your straight laser, you got 3, which is from your pod, your side, and your bait. So for now we have the straight laser, the round Vulcan, and the micro missile. We're going to get more as we progress through the game.
Arms installation is complete. Good luck.
Like I said, it took me like this is like 3 takes. Oh yeah, that's much better. Ah, fudge. I forget I'm using this emulator, so I got my other buttons as say my save my save and my load state buttons. In the Japanese version, the planet that is like Earth is called Mother. In the English translation, it's called Cortis. Corliss. My time in Japan has really messed with my lisp. So my R's sound like S. My R's sound like L's. Like Cortis. But it's Corliss. So if ever anybody were to ask, well, why'd you say that? Is it very easy? That's what happened. You know, you live in a different part of the world for some time. It really does affect you. But as I said, if you look at this game, and for the standards of its time, it's pretty damn impressive, and we can pretty much agree that this is the spiritual successor of Salamander. It's probably the most interesting of the Chest of Obscurity episodes I've ever done, because it took, like I said, take 3. Yeah, it took me 3 takes to actually get everything right. Because I had to switch. I did the original on the 9X. It looked good until the graphics started messing up. And the second time I did it, I didn't have the picture lined up. And this is my third time now I'm doing this. I think the first time I was like halfway through the game. So again, you really didn't miss much within the first 2 takes. Third, be grateful I basically did something about it. This is my 3rd take, and already it looks good. So now we have gotten some for our bait. So now we're going to get our straight laser, our round Vulcan, and it's added to the micro missile. We have the explosion bomb.
Arms installation is complete. Good luck.
And as you can tell, it's just like Gradius or Lifeforce, but like I said, it acts more like Lifeforce than anything else, because believe it or not, and I mentioned this in my previous video that I never did put up, but I'm gonna say this here. You ever wonder about, we never got a Gradius 2? We did get a Gradius 2. It was for the Game Boy. Or rather, we did get a Gradius 2, but it was unreleased. So we got it for Game Boy, and there was one for Famicom, but we never got it for NES. So just like with Metal Gear, there was a Metal Gear 2, but we never got Metal Gear 2. We got instead Snake's Revenge, and it was not Metal Gear 2. The original Metal Gear 2 was on the MSX, and it was called Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake. And thankfully, years later when Metal Gear Solid came out, that's when we actually got the release of Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake. So the same rules apply with this. Konami's always been strange over the years. I mean, you know, we never got a Twin B game until now. Or at least until they released the Game Boy collection. That's when we first got like all the other titles, like say I don't know why they had to do a re-release of Castlevania for the Game Boy. Because they did it once. I remember they did it for, you know, Castlevania The Adventure. They never did it for Belmont's Revenge. They did it now for, say, this time around for, you know, Steam and all modern consoles. But it's kind of like this. Twin B is about the same thing. It's like never got an actual release of Twin B. And Stinger, that was Twin B 2. But then again, we never got a release of like Grunge Point, but guess what? That's what the internet's for. There's a lot of things that Konami should have done, but again, it's like with most developers back in the day, they weren't sure if it was going to be welcome across, you know, across the shores. As a gamer, I would say, yeah, it would have been welcome. Just like with the Sega Saturn. Sega Saturn had like a couple of good titles. Real good titles that should have seen more along the lines on US shores, but they never got the chance. It's the same thing with the Dreamcast. The Dreamcast had a lot of good titles. Japan only, but still, they could have benefited from being, say, you know, going domestic. There's nothing wrong with going domestic. I mean, there's nothing wrong with going domestic. So yeah, you see me fighting ED209. We can already tell, it's like, they found the designs for ED209. Even though it was a shit piece. Even though it was a real mighty shit piece of a mech. It was a shit piece of a mech. I'm calling it as it is. It really was a shit piece of a mech because not only was it so big and bulky, but it was all stupid as hell. It was like so easy to hack into. A child could just freaking hack into it and just basically say, you know what? I gotta control this motherfucker. just a shame, though. So now, to go along with the straight laser, we have the Needle Cracker, brother of Freeze. Yeah, that joke will never get old. So we get the Needle Cracker, the round Vulcan. And let's go back to the micro missile.
Arms installation is complete. Good luck.
Of course, you see, you will get about 9 of them. Because, like I said, your job here is basically recovering the lost weaponry. And the enemy, I've read up on it through the Wikipedia, and the enemy is called the Armada of Annihilation. If that isn't the most original name for an alien threat in a long ass time, I don't know what is. And look at this, I start to think about Soldis. Soldis is a lot like that, you know, with those web-like enemies. I was mentioning, you know, back in the day when Mode 7 was really revolutionary as far as graphics went. To this day, as you can see for yourself, Mode 7 still stands out today as like the greatest thing that Nintendo ever developed. And most of their games back in the day used Mode 7. As it means to say, you know, 3D. Remember when the Nintendo had the 3D with World Runner and Rad Racer? Now, mind you, it was basically going by something that had always been there since the movies, and Nintendo basically tried to expand on it, just to bring it to life to the players. Any other time, I would say I would not be doing Chest of Obscurity, but I figure I might as well because I hadn't done like a few of these in a while. So since I've been doing a lot of projects, well, why not? So we're taking care of that. Now we're taking care of the witch's hat. I still have to say the witch's hat is pretty cool for a boss. The witch's hat, aka roulette wheel. Because I'm looking at it, it does look like a witch's hat. And the fact that it just like, it flinches when you hit it. You can't make this stuff up. It's pretty cool. So now, we get the last of the Bay weapons. So, well, actually, yeah, we get the last of the Bay weapons. So we're sticking with the Needle Cracker and the Round Vulcan. And added to our Bay weapons, we have the Cluster Bomb.
Arms installation is complete. Good luck.
You can't go wrong with that. See, this is so much better because that was the problem I had on the 9X. I had a problem seeing what I was shooting at because on some games you couldn't see jack the shit as far as, you know, the graphics were concerned. It had nothing to do with probably an emulation error, but or whatever. It might have been outdated. I don't know. But for what it's worth, get off, get off, get off, get off, get off. That's what a cluster bomb is. Just drop bomb. You know, that's pretty cool. Just drop bombs like that. And for those who are new to the channel as to why I use cheats on some games, why not? I was using cheats on some of my games when I was younger. I had Game Genie. Back in the day when Game Genie was the shit. And certain games they had codes to, but they didn't have all the codes to every game that there was. Just only the ones that were ever released in the US. That and Codebreaker. And Game Shark. For some reason, I am being reminded of R-Type. Just by this alone, it just reminded me of R-Type. You know how the laser used to ricochet around? That's what the lasers remind me of. It reminds me of R-Type. But as stated, for what this game was worth back in the day, to those who actually remember, oh, this game, you know, there's some people that, well, this game was pretty awesome back in the day, yeah. That's one thing I can say about now. It's like, I respect gaming more so, and that's why I play mostly retro over modern. I mean, I play modern and retro. And it has nothing to do with the views or anything like that, but my God. There are too many people who want to be reviewers. We got enough reviewers as is. Most of them want to be douchebags when they do it. Like, this is beneath you. Oh, why am I playing it? So I can say the same thing for y'all. You mean you're too good to enjoy something without you trying to say, oh, well, you see what I think? Nobody cares what you think. Really, nobody really cares what you think. But now, since we are in stage 5, we have unlocked the Neo Cracker. We still got the Neo Cracker, but we're going back to the straight laser. And to add to the round Vulcan, we have the Morning Star. And going back to the micro missile.
Arms installation is complete. Good luck.
So we got 2 more we need to unlock. And of course, no Konami shooter would be complete without its obvious fire level. And it's Fire Dragons. Always a staple in many a Konami shooter. I've been doing a lot of recording for next month, so for what it's worth, I say it's not bad. I'll pretty much get back to what I'm normally recording for, say, the rest of the year. I just want to get most of what I had on to be continued from last year to be concluded for this year. Like say the comic book games, yeah, I want to have those finished. So I was working on the Punisher for PS2 and Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction, but I instead continue it on the GameCube. I'm continuing it on the PS2. Plus, you know, more buttons. Also, if those may notice, I have gone back to streaming. But I think I found my purpose with streaming though. All those games that just have loose ends, yeah, that's what mainly I'm going to be using for my purpose of streaming. That or, you know, have a chill stream with it. It's kind of stupid for you to do that, sir. I see you're trying to protect your heart, but you know it's no use. Oh, and what is this we've unlocked now? The straight laser, the needle cracker, and the wind laser. Yes. The Morning Star. Micro missile.
Arms installation is complete. Good luck.
Oh yeah, now we're talking. We're talking now. Oh, really? I'm straight fresh out of everything, huh? Well, it is the Armada I'm taking on. Alright. So I just need to stay away from the beam. See, the beam will wreck my shit. I know you see me. You know when a place like this just gets all dark and dingy and it just has a lot of traps. You can bet your ass, yeah, you are right there at the final level. I mean, it's not even funny right now. It's like, oh, yeah, you right here. You right at the doorstep. Got such a small, tiny ass hitbox. It's boss. Oh, good lord! You can tell it has a very small, well, mid boss. It's not a. It's not a. It's definitely a mid boss, but still. Even for 90 standards, good lord, the music. music just states everything that there is about shooters. I swear, if you're like that boss from Gradius 3, the arcade version, I'm gonna be mint. The hell? I never did understand about Gradius 3 though. The final boss with it. Why would you do that? Why would you fake your players out like that? I was thinking if I... Man, this boss. So, this boss had me thinking, oh shit, did I lose a life here? I did? I did? Okay, I did. Oh, we out. Nah, you're blocking my view. You're blocking my view. You're blocking my way out. Excuse me. No, excuse me. You are blocking my way out. Bye. Isn't this the usual way, though? Ship floating out in space, and then all of a sudden, for no apparent reason, it's like with every staple of sci-fi anime or anything like that. You have saved the solar system. Your mission is complete. Peace has been restored to your people. And that's it. That was Axelay for the Super Nintendo. It was quite, like I said, quite a hell of a game for what it was worth. It was definitely something that was definitely worth trying out, and definitely something that was worth the time recording it. And I was halfway through it in my previous recording session. I made it through this one, so that's what counts, right? So join me next time when I show something else on the ever popular, ever interesting Chest of Obscurity. I've been your friendly neighborhood Tenkaichi, and I hope you enjoyed. So until then, until next feature, Dai Tencho! And I'll see you next game. That don't change anything. You just play on hard difficulty. That's all. It's no real change. Oh, it is what it is. See you next time.